Dr. Martin Picard opens the conversation by fundamentally redefining how we should perceive mitochondria beyond their traditional label as cellular powerhouses. These tiny organelles are not just engines that produce ATP, the energy currency of the cell, but rather sophisticated centers where a dynamic flow of energy is transformed and regulated. They act as a core hub of communication, receiving and sending signals that influence how every cell in the body functions. This expanded understanding positions mitochondria as integral to not only our physical vitality, but also our psychological states. Energy, Dr. Picard emphasizes, is the missing dimension in medicine, the often overlooked fourth dimension that runs beneath our biology's surface. Without energy flowing through mitochondria, genetic blueprints remain inert. In fact, the potential energy housed inside our bodies, stored and managed primarily by mitochondria, is comparable to the immense power of a lightning bolt, yet somehow managed with incredible precision to prevent harm and facilitate life's processes. When mitochondria falter, the consequences ripple out, affecting every level of health from cellular communication to the overall state of well-being. Beyond the mechanical, Dr. Picard invites us to consider that the fundamental difference between a living, conscious person and a lifeless body is the flow of energy. Genes, cells, and organs remain present, but without energy moving seamlessly through the system, life itself ceases. This positions energy not merely as a byproduct of metabolism, but as the very essence of our existence and consciousness. Aligning this with physics, energy is described as the potential for change, a dynamic state that enables transformation and interaction within biological systems. Unlike the more tangible molecules and structures traditionally studied in medicine, energy's elusive and fluctuating nature means it has been hard to measure and understand. Yet appreciating energy's foundational role shifts the medical paradigm toward treating health as an energetic flow rather than just static structures or isolated biochemical reactions. Dr. Picard elaborates that mitochondria behave like mini brains within each cell, processing thousands of signals from hormones, metabolites, the immune system, toxins, and even the microbiome. This network of communication molecules, notably including mitokines, signaling factors secreted by mitochondria, creates a complex system that integrates and orchestrates cellular responses to internal and external environments. The analogy to synchronized metronomes helps clarify this concept. Just as metronomes placed on a shared surface begin to oscillate together due to energy transfer, mitochondria within cells and across tissues coordinate energy flow and signaling to maintain systemic harmony. This synchronization and communication at the energetic level are the bedrock of cellular resilience and overall physiological coherence, a state often disrupted in chronic disease. One of the pivotal scientific concepts presented in the dialogue is the energy resistance principle, ERP, a formal framework devised to explain how energy behaves and flows within living organisms. Similar to electrical circuits, where current needs both a path and appropriate resistance to produce work, biological energy flow requires a Goldilocks zone of resistance, not too little, which leads to uncontrolled reactions, like a fire, nor too much, which causes energy traffic jams and dysfunction. Dr. Picard explains that energy resistance influences everything from cellular metabolism to psychological states. For instance, during exercise, energy resistance rises temporarily, triggering beneficial adaptations as the body compensates and ultimately lowers baseline resistance to become more efficient. Chronic high-energy resistance, however, corresponds to fatigue, inflammation, and disease, while too little resistance associates with states like mania, where energy flows uncontrollably. This balanced sweet spot is essential for health, repair, and longevity. The podcast delves deeply into the relationship between psychological and physiological stress and how it impacts mitochondrial performance. Chronic stress increases energy resistance within mitochondria, effectively stealing energy from critical biological systems responsible for maintaining health. This deficit manifests clinically as tiredness, brain fog, accelerated aging, and organ dysfunction. This perspective reframes stress as fundamentally an energetic problem. The body is forced to prioritize energy expenditure for immediate survival and immune responses at the expense of growth, repair, and maintenance. Illness and symptoms from depression to diabetes are seen as downstream effects of mitochondrial impairment fueled by persistent energy resistance, highlighting the importance of addressing energetic balance to prevent and heal chronic disease. A promising frontier in medicine is the development of biomarkers that objectively measure energy resistance and mitochondrial function. Dr. Picard's research highlights growth differentiation factor 15, GDF15, as a key blood protein that correlates strongly with mitochondrial dysfunction and overall energy resistance. Remarkably, this marker has emerged as a pan-disease biomarker linked to numerous conditions, including diabetes, dementia, psychiatric disorders, and cancer. While GDF15 testing is currently limited to research or specialty clinical settings, its potential for broad application is immense. It could revolutionize diagnostics by providing a quantifiable measure of energetic health, allowing physicians and patients to monitor mitochondrial function continuously, much like continuous glucose monitors track blood sugar control, and tailor personalized interventions accordingly. In practical terms, restoring mitochondrial health hinges on modulating energy resistance through a balance of stress and recovery. Exercise acts as a critical stressor that temporarily increases energy resistance, but ultimately promotes mitochondrial biogenesis and improved metabolic efficiency during subsequent rest. Equally important is honoring rest and recovery because mitochondria grow and adapt when the body is allowed to relax after exertion. Dr. Picard introduces the concept of mitoception, or tuning into the sensations of your mitochondria, feeling when your energy is flowing optimally versus when it is restricted, to guide daily lifestyle choices. This awareness helps individuals modulate physical activity, nutrient intake, and stress management to maintain energetic balance. It also underscores that mitochondrial dysfunction is rarely a fixed defect, but a dynamic state influenced by environment and behavior. Dr. Picard's specialty, mitochondrial psychobiology, explores the fascinating bidirectional relationship between mental states and mitochondrial function. Research shows that people with greater optimism, sense of purpose, and social connectedness possess higher mitochondrial capacity and enhanced energy metabolism in critical brain regions. Conversely, chronic psychological stress impairs mitochondrial dynamics and elevates energy resistance. This linkage is not metaphysical, but biological, mediated through communication molecules and signaling cascades that mitochondria both send and receive. Thus, mental health interventions that improve psychological well-being can translate directly into improved mitochondrial performance and systemic energy flow, bridging the gap between mind and body in a way that modern medicine is only beginning to understand. Every major chronic disease, from neurodegeneration to metabolic syndrome, psychiatric illness to cancer, shares a common underpinning of mitochondrial dysfunction and disrupted energy flow. The podcast discusses how the traditional disease-centric model fails to address this root cause, often treating symptoms without restoring the energetic balance that sustains health. Mitochondria are critically involved in all hallmarks of aging, including DNA damage, inflammation, and cellular senescence, making them central to both disease prevention and longevity. As research advances, targeting mitochondrial health upstream offers a proactive approach to reducing disease burden and extending healthy lifespan, shifting the narrative from managing illness toward promoting vibrant well-being. Dietary strategies play a key role in modulating mitochondrial function and energy resistance. The ketogenic diet, for example, provides ketone bodies that mitochondria use more efficiently than glucose, lowering resistance and enhancing mental clarity and mood in conditions like bipolar disorder and Alzheimer's disease. Proper nutrient support, involving coenzymes like CoQ10, carnitine, B vitamins, and NAD precursors, helps optimize the electron transport chain and reduces oxidative stress. Conversely, ultra-processed foods, which lack essential nutrients and promote inflammation, adversely impact mitochondrial communication and resistance. Dr. Picard stresses the importance of whole foods rich in micronutrients to fuel energy production effectively. This growing understanding explains why metabolic therapies can produce profound clinical improvements across a range of chronic conditions. As the podcast concludes, Dr. Picard and the host underscore a paradigm shift underway in medicine. moving from reactive disease treatment to proactive health creation by focusing on energy and mitochondrial function. This new lens transcends organ-specific specialties and embraces a holistic view where restoring energy flow equates to restoring vitality and resilience. This vision encompasses personalized medicine, continuous biomarker monitoring, and integrative interventions addressing lifestyle, psychological, and environmental factors. It promises a future where chronic diseases are not just managed, but prevented or reversed by fostering the body's innate capacity to heal through optimized mitochondrial energy dynamics.